Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in all of Ohio sports. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, seems to worry a lot about pitch counts and how long it takes between pitches. He's talking about a mandatory pitch clock of 20 seconds. That's not what's ruining the game of baseball. What's ruining the game of baseball is guys like Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Machado last week signed for $300 million on a 10-year contract, and today it looks as if it's going to be Bryce Harper, $330 million, that coming from the Philadelphia Phillies. That's what's ruining the game of baseball, not the time between pitches. You got to go to a game thinking your team has a chance to win, not only just a game, but get into the playoffs, and it isn't that way anymore. There's almost automatic placing for teams right now, depending on how much money they spend. If Rob Manfred is somehow interested in getting more people interested in the game and not getting turned off by it, it's not with a pitch count or a pitch clock. It happens to be with a salary cap and ways that teams can be more competitive no matter what size their market is. Dennis Manoloff is here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd consecutive year, and of course seen exclusively here on cleveland.com. Seen exclusively also right here, the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is with us from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. How are you, young man?
I'm in considerably better form than I was last week.
You can explain away. Go ahead.
It's
Tell
tough.
me you were playing with pain.
It's difficult to do a show when you're dealing with a bout of vertigo. And I didn't want to say it last week. You knew it, and the producers knew it. But it's hard when the room is moving around on you. And thankfully, it didn't last very long. By the time the show was over, I was much better, and I was able to drive home. But it got me to thinking, without being too sappy, be thankful for whatever you have on a daily basis. Don't take things for granted. I'm not saying every day you have to say, you have to go through a checklist of things you're thankful for, but at least keep them in the back of your mind, because your balance is something you take for granted most of the time until suddenly the room is moving, and then all of a sudden you're like, please make it stop, please make it stop.
And you're 30 miles away from home, and you got to somehow get there.
Yeah, and thank you for offering to drive me home, but I was able to get home. It's fine, been fine since. But if whatever I say today that doesn't go well, I can't blame it on vertigo.
Right, so that chair is not moving; that's you moving, right?
Yes.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show. That, of course, at reallesLevine@gmail.com. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is with us. Mike Macedo will join us a little bit later. All right, D-Man, I talked about baseball, and it isn't the pitch clock that's hurting baseball. It's other things. You have some ideas yourself.
I'm going to let your opening comments stand alone. It's not like I'm offering a rebuttal to it when I say that I don't think a salary cap is coming down the pike anytime soon. My issue is with the entirety of baseball, the players, the owners, whoever. I'm tired of hearing about lack of money. Okay? The players. Oh, there's no money out there, or we're not getting paid enough money. Oh, really? One of your guys just got $330 million. Arenado got 260 something, or 230, 40, whatever it is in the twos. Machado got $300 million. From the Padres. The White Sox were willing to pay Machado $300 million. The Giants were ready to pay Harper $300 million. I'm tired of hearing about players whining about lack of cash. And by the way, those players who aren't getting Harper, Machado, or Arenado money are still handsomely paid. Okay, well, certainly relative to the general population.
That's correct. But would you agree? Keep pitchers out of this because you can't really go. It's apples and oranges. That Harper and Machado aren't even in the top, maybe not even in the top 10 players.
Well, you get an argument there. I mean, I think advanced metrics are in love with Harper, except for this past year when his WAR was low and he had injury issues and whatnot. But the beauty of baseball is this: you can have 9 Machados in your lineup or 9 Harpers, and it guarantees you nothing in the postseason.
Right.
That's what's great about baseball, because a great pitching staff can neutralize even the most awesome of lineups. Doesn't automatically mean it's going to happen, but it can happen.
Or at worst case scenario, you can win from both ways.
Sure, and the good news for baseball is the mid to small markets can still win, even if they don't have payrolls that are gargantuan. We always hear about the Yankees. The Yankees win every year. No, they don't. The Red Sox don't win every year, although it seems like they have lately. The LA Dodgers don't win every year. The Chicago White Sox and Cubs don't win every year. Just because you have a big market and a big payroll doesn't mean you automatically mean you're going to win in October. But I just get tired of players whining about lack of cash, owners whining about lack of cash. And I get that some of the owners of these small market teams are like, wait a minute, that's not us. But you're part of a group that is spending huge cash on players. So don't tell me you're poor either.
What do you say to Cleveland Indians fans, though, they're not told anymore that they're a small market team, but we all know it's there, or they're playing it to the hilt. Cleveland can. I think what you're saying is Cleveland can spend more money if they don't want to. Is it fair?
You know what? I essentially am saying that. I get where the Dolans come from, or the Indians ownership is saying we don't have the deep pockets, the revenue streams that the Yankees, Cubs, Dodgers, Phillies, whatnot, that they have. Okay, fine. But I'm saying you can still have a nice payroll, even if you don't attract an incredible amount of people every game. You can still have a serviceable to good payroll, a competitive payroll. The good news about the Indians, though, I haven't heard it. Maybe you have, Les. I haven't heard them whine about their lack of funds.
No, they don't.
You don't hear them saying it. People complain about them not spending,
well,
but they're not sitting here belly aching.
You hear them say, though, it's tough to compete in this size market. But for different reasons.
True, but here's the other thing. I want to reflect on something else you said in your opening comment. The pitch clock. No league cuts, I don't want to use a bad analogy here, no league puts itself in a bad light better, or in the case of MLB, worse than MLB. They constantly self-inflicted wounds, Les. Why can't baseball just leave the product be and stop calling attention to all these so-called issues that it has? You don't hear the NFL complain about a 3-hour game, do you?
No, and they seem to be inching it down longer and longer games all the time.
Exactly. Nobody cares if the product is good, if you're enjoying yourself, if it's entertaining. And I go back to this, Les. Why is it that more and more ballparks are going along the lines of corner bars, hangouts, social gathering? So you're telling fans, we want you in the park and we want you to spend the evening with us. And then in the next breath, you're telling them, get out of here in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Well,
isn't that counterintuitive?
Yes. Also, they're taking you away from they want you to enjoy the game or enjoy the event, but the game of baseball, which is beautiful by itself, you're asking them to walk away from it. Don't learn from it. Don't understand all the different nuances going on in a baseball game. They're telling you it's better to go in the corner bar and have a drink.
But even then, at the corner bar, though, you can watch the game and enjoy the game and not feel like you have to hurry on out of there. But what baseball's doing is it's telling its fans, hey, we want to hurry things up. Why? Why do you have to hurry things up? What's the best part about a game that goes 12 innings, Les? Innings 10, 11, and 12.
The drama.
The extra innings.
Yeah, extra innings.
Extra innings, by definition, lengthen a game. Do they not? Well, also, nobody complains when extra innings are happening.
No.
And yet baseball does.
And going back to your thing about football, somehow they stretch it. The second game, West Coast game, or the key game, used to be at 4:05, then at 4:10. Now it's at 4:25. They're expanding the game and without telling you.
Sure. Sure, but you'd never hear anybody complain on the NFL side, certainly not the league. The NFL does not say, "Oh, our games are too long. We need to start shortening our games. We're gonna compress timeouts and commercials." No, but MLB constantly tells its fans that there's something wrong with its product. I don't understand that.
Dave Bacon was in Indianapolis today, was in on the John Dorsey press conference. We'll check in with that when we get back. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more sports, and Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. The D-Man is revved up. We'll get back to him and more. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment right here exclusively on cleveland.com.
The heart-pounding, fast-breaking action of college basketball is back when the 2019 Mid-American Conference Basketball Tournament returns to the Q March 13th through the 16th, presented by Visit Myrtle Beach. Pulses will rise and hearts will race as the men and women of the MAC put it all on the line. Tickets for the MAC tournament are on sale now at the Q box office, online at theqarena.com, and at all Northern Ohio discount drug marts. MAC Tournament Basketball. Be there.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It's the best of the best, Cleveland. All-star cars, hot rods, and motorcycles at the 2019 Summit Racing Equipment IX Piston-Powered Autorama. March 15th, 16th, and 17th at the IX Center. If a piston makes it go, it's in this all-star show, featuring motorcycles, antique trucks, insane hot rods in the Asylum, tractors, military vehicles, along with all-star themed car clubs on display. New this year is Fat Man's Invasion with Euro imports, sport compacts, lowriders, and more. PistonPowerShow.com for details. Kids 12 and under are free. Discount tickets on sale now at select Discount Drug Mart locations and Summit Racing Equipment in Talmadge.
I'm not going to talk about another team's players, but if, Kevin, you're out there, here's my cell phone right here. Well, Dave, here's my cell phone over here.
All right, so you got John Dorsey. That's not tampering, is it? He's basically saying, Pittsburgh, you want to deal with us? We need a wide receiver. Yeah. How about New York? What about you? He basically said that. Let's check out birthdays for today. Today is the 20th of February. Add them up. See what you get, 1947. Adrian Dantley was born on this date, so was Tayshaun Prince. Aroldis Chapman. Hated him when he was with the Cubs. Carlos Dunlap and Luka Doncic, all born.
No longer a teenager, Doncic.
No, yeah, he can, absolutely. 216-575-0403. Mike Massetta will join us shortly. Let's check out this date in sports history. February 28th, 1960 was the date. Down 4-3 after 2 periods, the USA hockey team scores 6 goals in the third to beat Czechoslovakia 9-4 to win the gold medal. That was in the Winter Olympics at Squaw Valley, California.
216. That was Carol Heiss's.
Carol
Olympics.
Heiss Jenkins. Yeah, absolutely.
And Hayes Jenkins.
And Hayes Jenkins. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. What expectations do you have for the Browns?
For the Browns?
Yeah.
Very high, although I think winning a division is maybe a tad too much to ask. I mean, I'm saying I think they get in the playoffs. That's my expectation, get in the playoffs. But I don't expect them to automatically win the North, and that by that meaning that Pittsburgh and Baltimore just disappear.
Right. Let's go to the phones. Let's start things off in Pepper Pike. BP standing by. Hello, BP. Open us up.
Hey, guys. How you both doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
Good, good. I took a little break. I was down in Florida. So I thought that's why I haven't heard from me in about a week. So
we were sending out an APB on you, APB on BP.
AVP.
Yeah, and I saw congratulations last year being honored by I think some kind of a radio award. I didn't read but congratulations on the award, and I'll be seeing you March 5th at your Buffalo Wild Wings. So I had to handle all these plugs for you.
Okay.
We had an embargo on that announcement, not till tomorrow, but.
That's okay. We'll talk about it in a minute. All right, what's on your mind tonight?
I did want to mention, as a Cleveland basketball fan, since I can't really root for much, all I do now is just hate on the Celtics, the Lakers, and Golden State. So that's why I'm calling.
How you doing on that? The Lakers helping you out here?
Well, yeah, the Lakers are keeping me happy with a lot of losing. They can barely beat the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, it shows the NBA is a bit of a weird league when, you know, it was a close game, then all of a sudden Anthony Davis is being sit down for the entire fourth quarter in a winnable game.
Yeah. You know what I'm wondering? We talk about the legacies and all that stuff, and obviously LeBron versus Michael Jordan. If they don't make the playoffs here, D-Man, and I know part of the reason would be he missed over 20 games with an injury, LeBron we're talking about. What does not making the playoffs do to the legacy, or am I missing the boat on this?
I mean, it would be jarring, to say the least. 8 straight finals appearances and then no playoffs for the same guy.
I mean, 20 years from now, nobody will remember he was hurt for 20 games.
Exactly. But I also don't think anybody will hold it against him necessarily if things don't go well in L.A. He's never going to have the 6-0 record in the finals that Mike has.
Right.
He's never going to have 11 rings like Russ has. So he's going to have to be content, perhaps, with the all-time leading scorer or something in that neighborhood. He'll pass Mike soon. But I don't think it's going to kill him if the Lakers experiment doesn't go well.
And who else you rooting against, Boston?
Kyrie.
Well, I'm rooting, yeah. I mean, we got a pecking order here. The hate starts with LeBron, then it moves on to Kyrie Irving. The Celtics are looking terrible, which I'm extremely happy about.
You know, I was thinking
Kyrie
about this
Irving,
today.
I mean, this kid had it all here in Cleveland. He was, Robin to, LeBron's Batman. He didn't have that much. All he had to do was go out and shoot, 25 times a game and, make, $90 million contracts.
BP.
I guess that wasn't good enough.
BP, you make a point. Be careful what you wish for, Kyrie. He wanted to be the man. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be the man. I want to be the man. Well, now his own teammates are looking at him like, nah, we're not really comfortable with you being the man.
Here's the other thing. For a couple of years now, Brad Stevens has been the darling of the media.
Red Auerbach, too.
Red Auerbach, too. And I'm wondering if he's on the block here at this point.
I was watching the game last night. I'm wondering, they keep showing these stats that, without Kyrie, they're 9-2. And so I'm wondering if Kyrie's contract is up at this end of this year. Maybe they're just going to let this guy walk.
BP, how about this? After the game, Irving, with consternation on his face, taken by these questions. It's killing him. And when he finally says, I'm so tired of talking about... He was basically saying he's sick of the regular season. All he wants to do is get to the playoffs. Well, that's great, Kyrie, except you get paid handsomely to play in the regular season. Whether it's pesky or annoying to you doesn't really matter. You're getting paid over a 6-month season, not a playoffs.
Yeah, and Boston, there's no guarantees the way they're playing. They might even be a 5 seed or something. And
I think they are at this moment.
Like Philadelphia or Indiana in the first round.
No question. All right, BP, we got to go. I will see you on Tuesday at BW3s.
You got it.
All right, good to talk to you. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can go there, catch the excitement of harness racing Monday through Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. We'll come back. Mike Massetta. We'll find out what Mike is thinking. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is here. You're seeing exclusively more sports and less Levine on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Naturestone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Naturestone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Naturestone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Naturestone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
No, I think anytime you can have 5 returning offensive linemen, there's a degree of comfort. Now those guys have to execute and be one. You know, I just in evaluating, when Greg stepped in to his role as the starting left tackle, I thought he did a great job. The one thing I admire most about him is how competitive he is. You know, we tend to forget he's only 25 years old. I couldn't be happier in terms of keeping those 5 guys together and keeping that, you know, beginning to keep that foundation in place. And I think that's really important.
Time for a How Come Quickie. How come if you miss a day while working at a calendar factory, you could be in trouble? You don't want to miss a day like February 12th or something like that. 216-575-0403, the D-man Dennis Manoloff with us. And, you know, you see Dorsey, he doesn't need a name tag. He just has the Cleveland Browns sweatshirt on all the time.
He's just fantastic to me. He's done so many good things since he became GM. Altman, I got to reserve my judgment on.
Right.
Kobe Altman has not done anything yet. Not to say that he can't. He's in the middle of a rebuild here.
Right.
We'll see what happens. But Antonetti Chernoff, that combination that I view as like a two-headed monster running the Indians, has done fabulous, obviously, by virtue of the Central Division titles, the postseason appearances. And then Dorsey, just in his crew, what a breath of fresh air
Absolutely.
they are on the NFL side.
They're a little off the wall, but they've in 1 year they've proven that they deserve that opportunity to do that.
You just listen when you hear him speak and his lieutenants when they speak, you just feel like they know what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, it's so comforting to hear that.
I want to go out to Nature Stone. Mike Macetta standing by. Mike, no. I'm totally serious. Are you there, Mike? All right, we'll get him. We'll get him.
Mike's
in a
elusive
moment.
at this moment.
Well, you're so fired up, you can't keep the phone line straight.
I'm pounding the table.
Do you love this time of the year?
I'm so excited that I have my balance back. No, I mean, the NFL is a master at a 12-month season.
Right.
They created it with the combines, the mini camps, the draft, the run up to the draft. They're brilliant as far as that goes.
We as Browns fans this year know how the other half lives. We're not living and dying by the combine, and probably won't live and die by the NFL draft coming up.
How refreshing is it that you don't have to worry about the quarterback? Finally. And now you're in the middle of the first round, essentially, 17. Who knows what Dorsey's capable of?
Right. They're going to announce, all right, the Browns pick so-and-so, a lineman, offensive or defense, and we'll say, okay, good night, everybody.
Sure, and he might trade. Who knows what he's going to do? But I 100% trust that he'll make the right call. Because he and his crew know what they're doing. They know what they need. And, oh, by the way, there's cap flexibility. They're going to be able to augment this roster with talented players via free agency. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time for the Browns.
You know what I have not said maybe ever in covering the Browns since forever? I'm about to make a statement that I've never made before. I think within 3 years they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Wow. And you're not prone to hyperbole like that. You're not a guy who sits there and gets sucked in like I do. I buy into the Browns every August automatically.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, to hear you say that makes a lot of sense. Because here's the thing. You have the quarterback. You have a solid to good offensive line. You have skill position players who've shown things under this in this offensive system. The Landrys, the Njokus, even Hollywood Higgins here and there. Perriman if they can get him back. Duke Johnson, Chubb carrying the mail. That's just on the offensive side. On defense,
there's no glaring opening there.
Right. I mean, I know you could say they need a home run hitter on a receiver. I forgot Callaway. Maybe Antonio Callaway is your deep threat answer.
Here's what we need to solve all the ills of the Browns and Indians and Cavaliers. That's Mike Macetta out at the Nature Stone. Mike, where'd you go there in the Netherlands?
I texted
difficulties, I guess, would be the proper term.
I haven't. Yes, it is. I haven't been able to tell you this either by text or phone call. But this week alone, 3 different people said, "Well, we were talking about things," and 3 different people said, "Well, what's Mike thinking?" So I'm going to ask you, what are you thinking? I'll tell you what we're going to start with. We're going to throw up the 2 projected lineups for the Cleveland Indians, and you're going to tell me, and both of you, D-Man is with us tonight, tell me if you're okay with it or not. Let's put up lineup number 1, and here we go. Mike, I don't know if you can see these, but I'll read them to you. You got Francisco Lindor.
Assuming good health on Lindor.
Yeah, assuming he's back fairly soon. Lindor, then second baseman Kipnis, third baseman is Ramirez. Santana batting 4th as the first baseman. Hanley Ramirez is the DH batting 5th. Mike Bowers is the left fielder, or Jake Bowers, I'm sorry. Tyler Naquin in right field batting 7th. Greg Allen center field batting 8th. And Roberto Perez is batting 9th as the catcher. Anybody say let's go buy World Series tickets yet? Anybody in position to do that? Mike, what are you thinking?
Like their Sunday lineup. That sounds like Francona's Sunday lineup.
Yeah, so you can get an extra day off in between trips.
Yeah, exactly. They're resting like most of their starters. I don't know. I don't like that lineup. It doesn't. There's not a lot of on base guys, and there's a lot of power.
Right.
They got a lot of power. But you got to get guys on base in order to live by that, the 3-run home run, and they just don't have a lot of guys that get on base in that lineup.
All right, if you don't like this lineup, let's put up lineup number 2. Let me know how you feel. How about Carlos Santana leading off in this lineup, followed by Jason Kipnis, Jose Ramirez, and Francisco Lindor. Naquin batting 5th in right field. Jordan Luplow in left field. Jake Bowers is a DH. Leonis Martin center field, and Roberto Perez is the catcher. And looking at that lineup, I can't believe any national guy would say, yeah, the Indians the team to beat in the Central.
No, I would agree with you, the national guy, and anybody else who's saying the same thing. That's just, it's not a lineup that moves me.
No.
I'm sorry.
D-Man, I know the pitching.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Hanley Ramirez is one of those intriguing signings that the Indians do every year, and they seem to end up reaping the benefits of that. He's very inexpensive. He's coming on a minor league contract. He's had success in the league. He's looking to have a productive season so that he can get a little bit of a contract before he retires. So I could see Hanley Ramirez coming in and actually producing, out of that DH spot. How much, it remains to be seen. But I could see him producing, and I like the signing.
I like the signing.
Good signing, but I don't think it makes them a lethal offense by any stretch of the imagination.
I like the signing too, but I often wonder why, in the Indians' case, when they're playing crying poor mouth, as D-Man talked about before, if it was so easy to get him without having to fight off anybody else, you wonder if other teams think he has anything left in the pot.
Oh, sure, yeah, and the other thing with that lineup that really scares me is Jose Ramirez had an awful second half of the year, and if you're relying on him to be the Jose Ramirez of old, I hope that he does that. But if he doesn't, you're in an even worse position than you are.
Yeah, well, I'll make you.
If he produced, you're in a better position, but still not great.
Yeah, I'll make you feel even worse.
He was last year. It's scary.
Yeah. I'll make you feel even worse. What if they baby Lindor a little bit and don't put him in full time, or he can't go full time? That if you got a problem with him and with Ramirez, you're really in deep situation.
They're relying on those two guys to lead the team, and they're not bad guys to rely on. They're very good players and very good hitters, but. Lindor has the injury, and Ramirez had a horrible second half. So you're in a very scary situation here. And yeah, they got the pitching staff, but they have an embarrassment of riches on that pitching staff. Now that Harper signed, you'd like to see them do something with one of those starters to try to beef up that lineup a little bit.
I'm glad you said that, Mike, because I'm looking at the board as Les put up the projected lineups, and again, assuming Lindor's healthy, which there's no guarantees he's ready by opening day. But I think there is a distinct possibility, given that we have an entire month of March still in front of us. And granted, the season it starts at late March, but there's plenty of time for the Indians to still make a move. And I think when they look at the graphics provided by Les and his production crew, they will see that there needs to be another move made. So it wouldn't surprise me if within the next week to 10 days something happens.
Yeah, I got knocked back a piece. I got knocked down a piece with the Marwin Gonzalez signing by Minnesota. That was the guy I thought could help the Indians, and you not only don't get him, it's like doubling down. You not only don't get him, but you lose him to the team that may beat you in your own division.
I'm with you, Wes. I loved Marwin Gonzalez. I thought he fit in here very well. Switch hitter, plays multiple positions. A Francona type guy. He's not overly expensive, so you could have gotten him for a fairly inexpensive price and really shored up your team, but they didn't do that. I'm still a believer in in that they're more looking for a third baseman and a young third baseman, a quality third baseman that they could put in today, move Ramirez over to second base, and if they can dump Kipnis' salary on them for along with one of those starters, they'll probably take less in a return. But I just have this suspicion that that's more what they're looking for than an outfielder. That's just my opinion.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know who's going to take on Kipnis at this point. But I agree with Mike, though, now that Machado and Harper are signed.
The floodgates should open.
And you would think that the rest of these guys will find some homes, and then the Indians will either swoop in and get a bargain basement guy that you didn't think would be available at a super cheap price, or a team that thought maybe it was going to get Harper or thought maybe it was going to get Machado suddenly says, all right, well, they're position players, but now we want to turn our attention to pitching. We think we're a Kluber away from being a World Series contender.
By the way, who wouldn't say that? Who wouldn't say a Kluber would put almost any team in position to where they think in March, as you head into March, that they could win their division?
Yeah, and I think that's happened. I think that suitors have come back to the Indians. The problem is the Indians are saying, we're not giving them away.
Yeah, we're not giving them away.
We need a minimum of 2 major league ready players with a couple of prospects in addition, and I don't think that the other team ever met that price.
Right, and it may not be because they haven't met the price. It may be that the Indians say, all right, we're in this position, let's go see what we've got, see if by the All-Star break, which is in Cleveland, by the way, maybe this terrific starting rotation will keep us in good shape so that maybe there will be somebody out there that they're selling, and maybe they'll pick up the guy they need at that point rather than picking him up for opening day. I've never remembered the Indians being in a position where you go into March 1st and you don't have any idea what your starting lineup is going to be. I mean, Mike, I can think of 4 positions in the projected lineup we had, 4 or 5 positions that A, I don't like, or B, I'm stuck with and can't get out of it.
It's bizarre, yeah. You don't know who's playing where on a team that should contend for the playoffs. And that's what's really unusual about it. Because of how good their starting pitching is, they should be a contending team, but you don't know who's going to be playing where. I don't know that it's all that unusual. I think that other teams have gone through this as well. It's just that with the Indians over the last several years, you pretty much slotted everybody in and kind of knew what was going to happen.
Exactly.
Now they're going to rely on some younger guys, and we'll see what happens. But Bowers could end up being the next Goldschmidt or whatever type first baseman player, and he can also play some in the outfield. And Santana, if he can get back to who he was, he's going to help. But they just don't have that number 3 or 4 hitter. No. To balance out that lineup and put them over the top.
Exactly.
They don't have that right now.
All right, we have found out what Mike is thinking. Mike from Nature Stone, great company, great guy, and a great knowledgeable sports guy. Mike, we'll talk to you really soon. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Mike Macetta, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. The D-Man and I come back. We'll take your calls. One line's open if you'd like to get in, 216-575-0403. We'll come back with history and more exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's take a look at this date in Les Levine history. February 28th, 1984, D-Man. After getting away with it for several years, Les's 10-year-old son questions why they had to leave the Ice Capade show at the intermission instead of waiting and watching the whole thing. This is just get out of there. They could never figure out how I beat the traffic out there. Well, there's a whole new show that they're going. You don't know about it. You'll do the same when you have kids. This is a week in review. Let's see what happened back on Monday. Back in 1997, D-Man Gus, a veteran umpire in the softball leagues Les played in, claimed that for years he had played for the San Diego Chargers. He never expected the internet would be invented, which of course would have proven that he was lying all the time. We go back to Tuesday. Les was told by an opposing coach that Les talked a better game than he played. The coach was a very good judge of talent. And finally, this week in Les Levine history, the third baseman on Les's softball team was so good, he won the league's Rookie of the Year award 2 years in a row. That's good. You win that Rookie of the Year 2 years in a row, you're doing well. 216-575-0403 is the number. You've been here late in the afternoon, so I don't know what you've been able to pick up nationally, what people are thinking about the Harper deal. But in general, when Machado's deal came down, what were we hearing nationally, and what are we hearing on Bryce Harper, who, by the way, if you keep pitchers out of this, I think both of them are not in the top 10 of baseball players.
Yeah, I mean, that is, again, your opinion. I tend to agree. I'm more toward you on that. Yeah. I do know, though, that Bryce Harper is a darling of the new schoolers. Certainly, you know, even though last year was a struggle for him.
Right. And also maybe the worst starting out right fielder in baseball, maybe. But who cares if you can hit?
Listen, the Phillies are going to be really good for a while, and Harper helps. And he says he wants to be there long term. Well, obviously he's going to be. Right. But he said he will. The team that he wanted to go to, he wanted a long-term deal, commit to them, recruit players to come. He hits really well at the bank, Citizens Bank. And the Phillies were on the rise anyway. So they're going to be good for a while. And so I think baseball is saying, okay, that's great. You got $200-300 million players there. Where's Trout? Trout's going to break the bank, of course, when he comes up. But
so is Lindor.
The game is healthier than it is sometimes perceived.
Yeah, but $300 million turns people off.
Yeah, but it shouldn't, though, because what do we hear about in the NBA? We hear about, well, kids want to play basketball because they see all the money that's being made by the NBA players. Well, guess what? A lot of money's being made by Major League ball players.
No question about it.
And there's more Major League ball players to go around because the rosters are bigger. So It's not, I mean, the NBA has mastered the individual marketing and the glamorization of the individual and the sexiness of what the individual might make at another team. But baseball has plenty of very wealthy people. So it shouldn't be a case where a kid says, oh, I don't want to play baseball. There's no money in it. Really? Well, guess what?
There's
Harper
money.
and Machado and Arenado, among others, would disagree.
Well, maybe there won't be any more because they took it all.
Yeah.
There's no money left.
And that's what we think. Honestly, I was wondering, with the new school evaluation of talent, would Machado and Harper or Harper get what they wanted? Well, guess what? They did.
Somebody threw out the number 300 million, and people laughed at it, and all of a sudden that somehow became a real number.
Yeah, and Arenado, to get what he got, mid-200s, is tremendous.
Well,
and by the way, I love Aaron.
I was going to say, he's a player.
Tremendous player.
I defy many people out there to come and say, I watch a lot of Colorado Rockies games, and they don't. But Arenado's one of the great secrets in baseball.
Yeah, not anymore. Right.
No, not anymore.
Up until this,
best
you can
fielding
make a case.
third baseman.
Oh, I mean, I've seen enough clips.
Yeah,
just clips.
Right.
Not watching the games because I don't have the time to watch Rockies games. But when they came in here for interleague, I talked to the Rockies people. I mean, the guys, Brooks Robinson with an unbelievable bat.
Right.
And so he deserves it. But my point is, players out there, don't cry poverty. And by the way, the Major League Baseball players have to understand that it works this way in other businesses as well. You have the CEOs of various companies who make a ton of money, and you have other guys who don't.
Yeah.
Well, in baseball, among players, you have the CEO caliber players, the guys who command a ton of cash, and other guys who don't. But that doesn't mean the other guys who don't aren't wealthy.
Correct. 216. And you need those guys to win baseball games, right? It's not just the superstars.
Sure.
You could probably go down in history and find some guy that maybe you never heard of or maybe wasn't very good, had a year that helped turn the tide for a franchise.
Well, yeah, and you show me a lineup that has one superstar in it in the postseason, which, again, probably wouldn't happen, but let's say it did.
Yep.
I'll pitch around that guy and I'll beat you. Because I'm not going to let him beat me.
You're
Miggy
exactly
Cabrera,
right.
a classic example when the Tigers were at the peak of their powers. Even as good as the Tigers lineup was, you could pitch around Miggy or pitch around Barry Bonds when he was great, and you don't let him beat you with a home run, and you can still beat his team in the postseason.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Next Friday, a week from tomorrow, Dan Coughlin is going to be out at Sokolowski's University Inn signing copies of his book. It's a great book. He's had 4 of them. He'll have them all out there. Great stories about Cleveland and Northeast Ohio sports.
You're in one of the chapters.
I am in one of the chapters. That'll be at Danny Coughlin next Friday from 11 until 2. That's at Sokolowski's University Inn. They're open for a lunch 11 to 3 and Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. We'll come back in a moment. Dennis Manoloff is with us. More sports and less Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Welcome back. More sports and less Levine. By the way, it was called to my attention yesterday that when I give the phone number out, I forget to tell people we do the show live from 6 until 7 Eastern Time. You know, we're getting calls from all over the country at different times, but the show to get on the air, it's 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, you can watch it anytime you'd like on cleveland.com, but the live show is done from 6 until 7. Dennis Manoloff is with us. D-Man, we've gotten 3/4 of the way through the show. Haven't mentioned the Cavaliers, who have shown sparks. I don't know if we want to show sparks, but they are, and Kevin Love part of the deal.
Yeah, the other night was an example to me where you satisfied both parties. The game against the Blazers.
Played well and lost.
The game against the Blazers, they're getting boat raced at halftime. It looks like it's going to be a blowout. They come back, they make a game of it. It's entertaining. They lose. So you satisfy the draft people, the people who say, got to finish in the bottom three, equal chance, 14% at the top pick. But you also make it a competitive loss and an entertaining loss for the home folks. So if you can have those, and against a quality team like Portland. So when you can have those types of games, the rebuild doesn't feel as bad. But obviously when you look at the overall record, it's terrible. They're in the bottom three. The last place is not, I mean, the worst team in the league is not out of question,
right.
The Suns, for the Cavs to run down. But what I do now, though, in the rebuild is look for individual components that I can see going forward.
Right.
Now, I'm not the only one who does that. We all do. Cedi Osman is showing me something.
Yes.
Especially lately. And I see him as a definite piece going forward. You're going to have include Colin Sexton on that list, even though I haven't been overwhelmed by what I've seen from Sexton.
The one good thing about him, though, he hasn't hit the wall after playing his college year. He's come here. He seems to be getting better as the season gets longer.
Yes, and he has age on his side. I mean, he's still only 20, and so a lot of was expected of him when he started his rookie season as a 19-year-old. But Osman and Sexton, obviously it looks like Love's going to be here to maybe be a guy to pull him along. I think Larry Nance Jr. has potential to be a solid to good player for a while, and he's obviously signed a contract. So you look at the pieces parts, and then you hope Altman can do his thing with the draft assets that he's stockpiling.
I want to go back to what you said. You're watching the team and they're playing against a quality team. As you're measuring it, you got to remember the quality team may be thinking they just show up on the court and go out and beat. They're still the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened with the Blazers. They come out, they're blowing out the Cavs at halftime. Early. They think, all right, we'll just walk to victory. Right. And the Cavs showed a lot of spark, a lot of spunk, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, and the Blazers are like, no, we're not going to lose this game. So they flipped the switch, proverbially with McCollum and Lillard and win the game. But here's another thing that I wanted to say, Les. You can follow the Cavs, and whether you're pained by their losses or rejoice in their losses because of the draft, doesn't matter, while also keeping an eye on LeBron and Kyrie, to BP's point. You know, I don't buy this business. Oh, you should just worry about your own team. LeBron and Kyrie are out of here. No, they left you. You know, so as Cleveland fans are allowed to be at least fascinated by what is or is not happening in L.A. or Boston.
And I'm surprised that there are still a lot of people who hopes LeBron somehow can make the playoffs and pull off an upset against Golden State and still do it. I look at it the other way. I'm a spurned lover here. I don't wish them well in any way.
And you have a right to think that, Les, because he left not once but twice. Certainly he was entitled to leave both times. But still, he left this team twice. And if I'm a Cavs fan, I'm saying, you know what? Kyrie and LeBron, you had it pretty good here.
You did.
Conceivably, you could have continued to try to win championships with you two together in Cleveland, and especially with Kyrie, who couldn't wait to get out of here because he wanted to be the alpha dog. You know, he wanted to be the man. He wanted to get out from under LeBron's shadow. Well, guess what, Kyrie? It isn't as easy as you thought it was going to be, is it?
Absolutely. 216-575-0403 is the number to call from 6 to 7 Eastern Time. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, and you've got it Sunday through Wednesday and then Saturday nights. 6 p.m. is the post time. Open early every day for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Free admission, free parking every day. That is at Northfield Park. Each week, the Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program recognizes students who are role models from across the state of Ohio. This week, we head to East Palestine High School to meet Peyton Sherry. Peyton excels in basketball, golf, and in the classroom as well. The Ohio Lottery is proud to salute Peyton Sherry, this week's Shining Star.
Peyton Sherry is a sophomore who has a senior-sized resume.
My family, like my mom and my dad, really told me when I was younger that you need to have high goals for yourself so you could accomplish them and strive for them.
For example, Sherry is a starting point guard on East Palestine's varsity basketball team.
It meant a lot just to be able to come out and do so well with all the other girls on the team. We all work together really well.
Every summer workout we have, she's here. If we do 2 a day, she's here. If we shoot in the morning, she's here. So she doesn't miss, and she's committed to it. That's why she earned that spot.
Her freshman year, Peyton decided to try golf, even though the school didn't have a girls' team. She played alongside the boys and recently earned all conference honors.
For her being the only girl, playing on the team, and then really being new at it, I think added some pressure, and golf's a very mental game anyway, so I think she did really well for it.
Her plan is to run track in the spring while keeping up with her grades. Sherry owns a 4.7 GPA in all honors classes.
She manages to find the time to get everything done that she needs to. It's always done with perfection. I mean, I don't think she probably has above 100% in my class, which is kind of an awesome thing.
In her spare time, Peyton volunteers to help the elementary and middle school kids.
I try to put myself in their position as when I was younger. If I was the only girl at camp that wasn't with her friends, I would want someone to help me out.
From the court to the classroom, Peyton Sherry is a true shining star.
Well, it means a lot to me because it's a lot of hard work to get it all done. And with balancing sports, and it's a lot of time to get everything and manage it all and still get good grades while still doing good in sports.
Tired.
If you know a student deserving of recognition, visit OhioLottery.com. Go to the About section, then find the tab that is marked Supporting Education to nominate him or her as an academic all-star. He or she could end up as one of our shining stars from the Ohio Lottery. Les Levine, along with the D-man, Dennis Manoloff. D-man, little news came out about ESPN Monday Night Football.
Yes, Jason Witten has decided to scratch the itch to play again.
17th season.
Yeah, he comes out of the Monday Night Football booth. He had been with Joe Tessitore in the booth while Booger McFarland was in the stands or in that booth within the stadium.
Right.
So now you have an opening there. I tweeted out that two obvious choices in a class by themselves to me to replace Witten would be Joe Thomas, our own Joe Thomas, and Ryan Clark, the former Steelers DB. Ryan Clark tweeted on top of my tweet and said that his man Booger McFarland will do a great job in that role. So I guess Clark's rooting for McFarland to move from inside the stadium to inside the booth. I still think even if that happens, there's room for a third guy. And to me, either Joe Thomas or Ryan Clark deserves it because they are fantastic at what they do.
Well, I think Tony Romo kind of made it look easy by coming out of the field and going up to the broadcast booth. It's a pretty tough job. And Joe would be great at it, I think, but I'd hate to see him be put in a position where you could fail early on.
Right.
I mean Romo did such a good job. He raised the bar.
Yeah, and I know Witten did get criticized, and I wasn't a fan of Witten, although I didn't go out and rip him or anything. I just didn't think he was all that good.
Right.
But I think Joe Thomas, and yeah, maybe it's the homer in me, the Cleveland guy in me, but Joe Thomas is perfect for that role. I don't know if he tried out the first time,
right?
You know, when Witten eventually got the job. But
although he did make the rounds of the national places.
Right. I just don't know if he technically had a tryout with Monday Night Football for that position that was eventually filled by Witten.
Right.
But to me, you can't go wrong with Thomas or Clark. But Clark seems to believe that McFarland's going to get the promotion into the booth. Are they going to stick with just Tessitore and McFarland in that case? Would they have a third guy outside?
Do you think announcers make the difference in ratings or buzz and all that stuff? I mean, I'm not so sure that, other than Howard Cosell and Dandy Don Meredith, I'm not sure, and maybe Madden, I'm not sure of any others that actually move the needle.
Well, I think they do if they're good enough, and you just mentioned one who is, Tony Romo.
Right.
Romo's a guy, you wanted him on your game. I couldn't wait for Browns-Ravens. Obviously, we were excited about Browns-Ravens intrinsically, but when we knew that Nance and Romo were going to have the call, I couldn't wait to hear what Romo had to say about Baker Mayfield, and for that matter, Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So, yeah, if you're good enough, you can definitely create a buzz around your game. Does it automatically translate to ratings? I don't know. It's almost impossible to measure because Romo and Nance are the #1 team on CBS, so they're naturally going to have high ratings wherever they go.
Correct. But I also don't know that Joe Tessitore is somebody that anybody recognizes or that there's nothing personal against him, certainly, but I don't know if there's anything memorable about him. Is there?
I mean, he's good at what he does, and
just solid.
He's known as a boxing play-by-play guy as well as football and whatnot. He doesn't overwhelm you. He doesn't have the name recognition of a Nance or even a Brad Nessler or a Gumbel or those types of guys. But he's solid. I didn't think he was the problem on Monday Night Football. I thought you could have had more from Jason Witten, and maybe you will now.
All right, let me got another minute or so. Let me jump back to baseball because you said you think it's a long way between now and opening day, and you think something will happen. Which way are they going to go? If it's you, which way you go? You unloading a pitcher? What are you doing? Standing still?
I think the first thing the Indians do, and I'm not saying they were automatically waiting until Harper and Machado signed, but this now gives an opportunity for other guys to sign. Now that they're out of the way and other teams see what available cash they have, don't be surprised if the White Sox make a move or the Giants make a move with that cash that they had available potentially for a Machado or a Harper. But what the Indians do is they wait to see how that earth moves first. They see if they can get a legit major leaguer, a guy with major league credentials, maybe more of a sure thing than Ramirez, coming in. And then if that's not to their liking, then they start to re-explore the trade market.
Right.
But I don't think they can realistically go in looking at the graphic you and your team put up, and say, that's good enough.
No, it'd be hard to believe if that's the way.
The one guy, though, I do think they're going to give an extended leash to is Bowers. Out of all those wild cards, I think Bowers is a guy that they truly believe in, and they're going to run with him as long as they possibly can, unless he completely flounders. The other ones are, it's open.
I spoke to Brian Anderson, who does the TV analyst, the color analyst for Tampa Bay. He likes his kid, Bowers.
All right, well, BA's awesome, as we know.
Right.
And speaking of play-by-play guys, Dwayne Stats, I mean, he's one of the best there is.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to the D-man, Dennis Manoloff. He'll be back next Thursday night with us. Dave Bacon will have his weekend winners tomorrow night from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, and I'll be back on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.